forgiveness. The reaper is rising, and you're only testless. You can run, but you cannot hide. Your ending was closer, and death is on your side. Your decision, your life, has made it hard for you to survive. Count your chicken, accept your losses. You are the reason for the nails in your coffin. Shame, shame, I know your name, my friend.
Gene Simmons says 2 box sets are coming out by the end of the year. Joey hung out with Peter Criss this weekend, and to top it all off, it's the spaceman's birthday. We're going to talk about all that shit today on Podcast Rock City Live. What's up, everybody? Joe here from Podcast Rock City. And with me this week, Sonny Hollywood Pooney.
We start 1 hour later, and we already got late Joe. Everybody knows I'm the first person to curse on this place, and you already did it. 1 hour late, and we already got late Joe.
So some of you guys might not know what late Joe is. So we'll get to that, but I got to get everybody else in here. Right down there is the man, the myth, the legend, Joey Cassata.
Woo, I would like to welcome everyone in the Kiss world to the #1 Kiss podcast.
Oh my God, we have a thing now.
Oh no,
God, we have a thing now.
Which it's trademarked. Nobody else can do it. If I see anyone do this, send your money to Podcast Rock City 1.
That's the #1
at gmail.com. Anyway, welcome.
Actually,
to
it should be like this.
The fuck is that?
Exactly. That's what I was gonna do.
Welcome
right
to the #1 Kiss podcast in the world, in the universe, in the history of the galaxy.
And right
Podcast
down
Rock
there
City.
is the goddess of thunder herself, Lee. Hi, Lee.
Hi, everybody.
It's so good to see you. We're going to
So
talk
innocent.
about what she is.
Hi, hello.
I am.
She is innocent. Lee and I are going to tell you guys what we're doing this weekend during the news. But there's a little bit happening, really all over the place. Like so many different, it's like a big soup, and there's some carrots in there, and there's some celery.
Late Joe.
And late Joe. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Sonny and I used to have a radio show. Years ago, we were lucky enough to I said on this show one time, it would be great if we were able to play music. And these awesome people that owned a radio station, I think it was in Buffalo, they listened to the show and they were like, "You're on." So Sonny and I, every Wednesday night, right, we would get on, and Jody did it with us as well. And then I stopped doing it, and then you were doing it with Brent, right? And but here's the thing. Once we get to 9 o'clock, which is around when I was doing the show, we got late night Joe. I was ornery. So it just got
F this and F him and
Whoa.
late night Joe. Late Joe is what they started calling it. And hey, look, we're an hour later than normal. The reason we were doing this is because we wanted to make sure Joey could be here to tell us all about his amazing experience on Saturday. But before we could get to that, we've got to get to the news.
Podcast Rock City News.
First and foremost, Friday night in Peachtree City, Georgia. Lee and I and Karen will all be there to see Gene play at what they call the Fred. It's an amphitheater. And we're going to go and see Gene, and we're going to give you guys a report. Hopefully, look, so here's the thing. I'm going in with a good attitude. We don't know what the set list is going to be now. It could be completely.
Attitude would there be?
Well, I could be going like, well, I'll pretend I'm Sonny.
Like Sonny would be, you mean?
Oh, come on.
My hat's backwards. He always wears his hat forward. I'll be Sonny because he's Sonny. You guys don't know. How tall are you?
6'2".
6'2". He could whoop. I mean, like Chris Jericho is afraid of this guy. All I'm saying. Anyway, I just want to go in with a good attitude, okay? And hopefully there will be no Motorhead, right, Joey?
Matt Porter has a wonderful question. How much is the meet and greet, the PRC meet and greet at the Gene Show?
Oh, it's always free.
Whoa.
It's always free. Of course,
Joe,
it's always free. We
It's
love you guys.
$50 the next night,
Yeah,
but
I'll
yeah,
take-
it's free Friday night.
I'll talk to you after the show, Joe. You don't know how to make money. What's the matter with you?
Hi, Josh. Thanks for joining in. This is your first time. Awesome. So glad to see you guys. So Josh is part of our after school special that we do here. Usually in the after school special, you learn a lesson like don't be a prostitute when you come home from school because your teacher wants to give you money. That's usually what we talk about.
Sonny,
But
what
that's
the
not
hell
what
is
we're gonna talk
happening
about
right now?
today.
I don't know late night, Joe. I don't know this late night version.
So all right. So we do an after special every week. It costs 99 cents a month to do it. If you are watching right now on YouTube, look in the description. There's a link. If you click the link, you can sign up for just 99 cents. And every month, the first week of the month, we give away Kiss prizes that we use. Lee is dying. That we use the money that we get from you guys.
That's fun.
Matt's amazing. So anyway, we're gonna hang out. We got a lot happening. I want to talk about a couple of things. First of all, it's the spaceman's birthday. He's 77 years old.
No.
Did
I don't
anyone
think-
not know who the spaceman
No,
was that
he
he
is
had to
not
hold up?
70.
Like 74, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's 74. I just pulled a number out of my ass. He's 74. This is a guitar player that he was on. It's really if you open it up and look at it, it's really great. There's a lot of Paul's interviewed in there. There's a lot of ads like for the guitars and pickups that they use. What I wanted to do though, because I thought this would be fun, I quote this magazine all the time, you guys. Kiss Fever magazine. Do you guys remember this?
I don't remember that. No.
Kiss Fever magazine. This was the magazine that when it came out in 1980. Okay, I was probably about 9. I know it was summer
I'm
because
sure I had it cut up all over my room.
I came home and my lovely mother Diana had this magazine for me, and she handed it to me, and I went into my bedroom and I opened it up. Sonny,
I didn't know where that was going.
Now, hold on. The way this show is going, the after show is 100% going to be X-rated. So if you haven't tuned in before, I have a feeling, Joe, when you sign on for the after show, Joe could be completely naked. I don't know what's going to happen.
nobody wants to see that. Not even Karen. Okay, so listen, here's the amazing thing. I'm going to blow your minds, okay? I open up this magazine. I'm flipping through it. I get to page 8 and 9. Okay? On page 9, 1980, there is a picture.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Wait, really?
Yeah, look.
That's whoa, I don't remember that at all.
I ran. God rest my mother's soul. She's sitting right here next to me, going, "True story, true story." That was from that MTV thing. Anyway, I ran out. I was so excited. Oh my God, Mom! It's Gene Simmons, no makeup. It said he was coming out of like Studio 54, and you guys never saw that before.
No.
No.
1980. It's
I
amazing.
mean, I'm trying to think back then. I don't remember seeing that.
I go to the front of this magazine, and I remember sitting in my bunk bed and reading this headline. Ace says, how to meet us. It's not impossible. And I actually remember thinking, I'm never going to meet these guys. I want to meet Kiss. I'm never going to meet
Same. Yeah, never.
But inside, it says how to meet them. The craziest thing is, it took forever, but I have met them all now. And and so many of you have as well. I bet when you were 7 or 10 years old, you never thought one day I'm going to sit next to Ace Frehley and he's going to be like, and doing an autograph, and it's going to cost you $900 or something. But still, you probably never thought you were going to meet Kiss, but you have, and it's amazing. So this is what it says, how to meet Kiss. And I thought I would read these because it was fun. 10 tricks you can use to meet Kiss. Number 1, have big boobs. It doesn't say that. I'm just kidding.
That's probably is the number 1.
I'm in.
That's why I could never meet them back then.
So I'm not touching that one, Lee. HR is already being called today. Number 1. Oh, how about this? Let's start with number 10. Number 10, in California, we like to eat at the Palm or at La Scala restaurants. Sonny?
No clue.
No clue. Number 9, as you can tell, I like to read about myself in magazines. So when you buy this one, look around. I might be there. Number
Hammered.
8.
Hammered.
Number 8. I was once in a magazine store when 2 kids were thumbing through Kiss magazines. If they only knew I was standing right next to them. That's not like a hint or a trick to meet them. I don't know what's happening. Number 7. Check us out without our makeup on page 8, so you'll recognize us when you see us on the street.
Come on.
I showed you the pictures.
Does it say that?
Yeah. Number 7, check us out without our makeup on page 8, so you'll recognize us when you see us on the street. Number 6, we like to dance. You may see us coming out of Studio 54. That's where that picture's taken. I would die to see Ace Frehley dance.
Oh
if there's video footage of that,
That'd be amazing.
please. It would be like a spider on a hot plate.
I'd love to.
Number 5, we sometimes do promotional tours when a new album of ours is released. We show up at big record stores and sign autographs. Be there. Number 4, hang around the backstage door after the concert. Sure.
That doesn't always work.
Number 3, hang around the stage door an hour before our concert.
First, stop right there.
You're late.
I love how they say the backstage door. There's not a door to the back. There's not like backstage sign on the door with a little arrow. There's no such door. These little spots don't exist. There's so many ways inside of arenas and stuff like. There's no door.
I love to be at the entry.
You.
I love to be at the entry door an hour before.
Yeah.
You're late if you're an hour before. God damn it.
Have you never seen that Saturday Night Live episode where all the people are hanging out backstage? There's a door.
Yes.
And anyway, okay. Let's see. Number 2, when doing a concert, we have a sound check in the late afternoon. Hang around the concert area and you could spot us. And number 1, Kiss often do personal appearances like when a store opens or a circus is coming to town. Check your local paper. We could be coming your way. That is from this. I'll show you guys again that one picture. There's the picture of Gene.
See, the issue is here is by the time I see this magazine, it's 10 years after it's been out and they're already out of makeup.
Right.
So that doesn't even hit me. That, oh my God, somebody could have told 3 years before. I don't even connect that stuff.
Let me tell you something funny. When I got this magazine, I almost got in a fight with somebody about how I did not believe that was Ace Frehley.
Really?
That's a
Look.
weird picture of Ace, though. It's
That
like
is weird.
his neck is too long and
Yeah, you're right.
and the
That is a
costume's
weird
too low.
picture.
It's a
Look,
little
it looks
weird.
like a tribute band artist.
Yeah.
I can't believe
That's
you
a
just
little
said that.
weird.
That's what he
Joseph
looks like.
Collins just joined, new member. Hey, Joseph, thank you very much. Don't forget, we're going to hang out as soon as this show is over and shit may hit the fan.
Uh-oh.
All over the place. Anyway, Ace Frehley's birthday, the spaceman, the original spaceman. If I don't say the only spaceman, I may get sued. I don't know. But the original spaceman for sure. And we love Ace. Joey did his last record, and I guarantee he still has stories he has not told us.
Well, there's definitely there's some stories I might have told you guys privately, but I don't know if some of them work for on air.
Randar Cole, good. Join the YouTube member. Thank you, buddy. We're gonna hang out in just a little while. Okay, so one more thing for the news, and then we're gonna get to the topic of the week. So Eddie Trunk, Jordan, you're a new member. Hey, good to see you. Eddie Trunk reported that Gene did an appearance and told some people that by the end of the year, there will be 2 box sets out, Dressed to Kill and Alive. So let's start with that. Lee, how do you feel about an Alive and Dressed to Kill box set?
I love it. May actually buy those.
So here's the thing. What has to be in this, though? For me, I almost feel like so I like quirky things when it comes to Kiss. I have a whole folder on my computer of radio interviews and shit like that. Watch it, Sonny. And that's not what he was shaking his head about.
Oh.
And I love listening to the interviews. I have before they made it interviews with Allison Steele. They're really good. I think we really need something like that. I would like to have something like that in there. And the reason why is I don't just want when the Creatures box set came out, it's cool to listen to it, but it's also cool to see where their minds were and see where their attitudes were and see where their fame was at the time. You guys have all seen Vinnie Vincent and Paul and Eric and Gene right when they were recording Night Flight, right? And then they're singing songs and naming them, playing Name That Tune. That's intriguing to me. I think that's interesting. Sonny, does that kind of stuff interest you? I know everybody's different. If they had something in that, is that something you'd be like, I really want to listen to this? Or are you just hit me with the music?
I don't know about the interviews because we're talking 75. I just don't know what type of interviews you're going to get. They're going to be very vanilla, in my opinion. I want live video. I want video of them recording Dressed to Kill. I want video of, whether it's a compilation type video of 5 or 10 different concerts that happened in 75. I want a poster book. I want a poster book with all of the pictures of them in suits and the phone booth and all that. And then I want a poster book and the live. And I want pictures nobody's seen or are very rare, but I want them 11 by 14, 11 by 17, something solidified. The music, dude, I already have those 2 albums. So unless you're going to give me something I ain't heard before somehow, you can almost forget about the music, and I don't need another shirt that has only 2 people on it. So I don't care about that. Okay,
so Joey, I'm going to come at you with this one then. So Alive was recorded over several nights, and the DVDs are out there. The DVDs are out there. So if they released Alive, but had an alternate night,
yes,
how does that sound?
Well, I was just going to suggest that. That's what I want. I just don't know if the box set will have any video included. Of course, we all want that. I think that's the ultimate. We want more video. They keep releasing soundboards and box sets. We want more video stuff, which, God, when was the last thing they released video-wise? But anyway, with Alive, yeah, I would love to hear one of the nights, listen, we all know some stuff was doctored and it was fixed in the studio. That's okay. We love the record. It's amazing. Give us one of the nights, wherever the nights are recorded, the best version of one of the nights. And we've all heard these too. They're bootlegged, but one of the nights unaltered, start to finish, the whole live show, unaltered, video and audio. No doctoring. They can enhance the audio, whether it's remastering, but not overdubs. Just what's the live audio. And I think we've all seen or heard some of the nights unaltered. And for people always yelling, "Oh my God, Alive is altered," and if you listen to some of those takes from those nights, they're great. They're almost better than Alive. You know what I mean? There's a little hiccup here or a little out of tune here, but I like those little discrepancies. I think it feels more live that way. But that's what I want. I want to hear the full live show, unaltered, and see it.
I agree. Lee, we've talked on the show before about our bootleg collections, right?
Yeah.
And you've got some.
I got a lot.
So, being honest, how often do you last night, I actually pulled out the Asylum bootleg from New York.
Nice.
I haven't watched it in probably, 15 years.
Right.
And I know why, because it was filmed from the side of the stage and I'm almost throwing up watching it. Once the guy gets comfortable, it's not that bad. But how often do you pull these things out?
I haven't lately. I've been thinking I want to get them out and start looking at them again. But I like stuff like somewhere I saw like they were practicing and goofing around at a practice and saying funny stuff to each other. I like that kind of stuff too. Like if they could throw that in there. I don't know if they have anything from those eras of that, but
I also agree with Sonny. I think the ultimate for all of these box sets, anything they release, the one thing we've really never seen, we've seen some still footage. We obviously seen some photos, but them in the recording studio doing any of this stuff, even if it's a piece here, a piece there, there just has to be footage. There just has to be. And if there is, God, that's the stuff we want. It's, I know the only one I've ever heard that I know exists, like, I think they filmed all of Carnival of Souls. I remember hearing about, but we never saw any footage of it. There's got to be stuff in the 70s of them in the recording studio recording these tracks. There just has to be.
Can you imagine, like, it's February 75. They're in the recording studio, and Gene and Paul are arguing about whether Paul is in key or not.
Oh, my God.
Right?
I want to hear.
So Paul's like, I sang it 6 times.
Yeah.
It's in key.
It'd
And
be
then
awesome.
Gene sings it. You got to be here. You're in the wrong key.
Well, if that video exists, we're not going to see it. Paul's not letting that.
But you get what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, of course.
be
Does
hilarious.
Paul have a say? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Owns
Or
this stuff
Ace.
now.
Ace, that's a great solo. That was for the last song. We're actually on the next song now, Ace.
But Joe, you know what
But
I
I
always
mentioned
wondered?
it's his birthday. It's
Joe,
his birthday.
You know what I always wondered that you brought that up. So obviously we know Pop House, or what we like to call Polo House, bought all the Kiss catalog, and they bought all the stuff, and they bought the rights, blah, blah, blah. You don't think Gene and Paul still have a stash of video, still have stashes that I can't imagine they took everything and they went, here you go, like in, boxes. You know what I mean? There's got to be stuff that they didn't
There's
actually.
a vault somewhere.
100%.
Just because they bought the intellectual property of all that stuff means Gene and Paul can't release it on their own anymore. But it doesn't mean they don't physically have them. I still think Gene and Paul, or whatever it is, the Warehouse or Keith LaRue, or someone has all of this stuff somewhere, probably not even in Pop House's physical possession, just because they just haven't gone through it or physically taken over this stuff.
Some of the problem is in the 70s, it wasn't commonplace to video stuff. It just, just wasn't back then.
Well, here's the thing, though. Bill Aucoin was a TV guy. He believed in filming everything. Now, I have read in a book or two that hit the biggest problem that Kiss has back then was he would film the thing, they would watch it, and then he would rewind it and tape over it again.
Tape over it. Oh,
What are we missing?
Yeah.
Well, he did it. He did it for rehearsal purposes. He didn't do it for, nostalgia, catalog purposes. He did it.
Yeah.
Hey, let's watch ourselves back.
Mhm.
This sucked. Let's fix this.
Right, you gotta
Rewind,
improve it.
record it again.
And somebody mentioned in here that there's a pro shot from the Loomis stuff that came out. There is a pro shot.
It doesn't sound great is the problem.
Yeah, I don't think
fine.
I have it, to be honest. I don't
It
have
doesn't
all the
sound
Loomis
great.
stuff.
I don't either.
I was able to get a couple of things, but I wasn't able to. I did get the video where Ace pulls the gun out of his sleeve and shoots it during his solo, which was pretty cool. And I have a couple other things, but I didn't. There's a lot, and I didn't get it all, so I haven't seen it. Okay, so
the other problem here is if it's not video, and let's say it was just audio, that for some reason the boombox or whatever was taping and we've got audio. The problem is I'm not sure I would believe that's real audio because AI now, the audio's way too good to fake it. You know what I'm saying? Now I would have to have video that shows that that's real because I'm not sure I'd believe it.
Great point.
yeah. Okay, so you guys that are signing up right now, I don't know if you got all the details. I want to make sure you do. Every month on the first show of the month, we do a giveaway, and we've been given a bunch of stuff from Kiss Haven. If you guys don't know Kiss Haven, they're cool. Today I decided to go online and just pop something. Let me see what we got here. Let's go. Not dog clothes. They have everything Kiss.
Dog
Okay.
clothes.
Look, here you go. Look, if you want to get an Ace autograph, you can get an Ace autograph. A Paul autograph, you can. Okay. They have this kind of stuff. They get it themselves too. I believe it's if you guys know Keith LaRue and Joe Odell, I think those are the only two people I think that are involved, but they're the guys.
That's one of my favorite pictures of Ace. Scroll down. Keep going. The one where he's leaning back, that one.
Oh,
with
right
the
here.
sunburst. Oh my God, dude. That's one of my favorite pictures of Ace.
Click the link, Sonny. Hurry up.
Oh, I have it
I'm gonna hold
already.
it. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to hold it forever. All right. Okay. So this has been a lot of fun so far. I have some amazing things to talk about. And Lee and I are going to be excited about the next thing. And she has no idea what I'm going to show, but it's very fun. Joey kind of knows, and Sonny, it'll be a surprise. So we're going to have to do this in the topic of the week.
Podcast Rock City Topic of the Week.
I was sent on a mission. Life years ago.
So Joey was driving home from a project that he's doing today, and he called me and he said, hey, I'm going to be able to make it. And then we just got on this rant about something that happened to me today. And then I went up and looked up the video of what we were talking about. And it turns out it was in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. So I went and found this video because I want you guys to see this. So before we show it, Joey, tell what you did. What you explain what happened.
So if I remember what we were talking about correctly, so when my band ZO2 opened up for Kiss, it was kind of leaked to us that the road crews and the other bands would always play tricks on the opening band. Now we didn't know what the hell that meant. We were like, what do you mean? Tricks. We really had no idea what they meant. So this was one of the last nights of the first run. We did a full run of about 40 dates with Kiss and Poison. And then we had like a week off. And then we had a couple extra dates out in Texas with just ZO2 and Kiss. No, we were the only opener. So this was one of the last nights of the first run, maybe even the last night. I'm not positive. And, we didn't think anything of it. You know, we were excited. We came out. Obviously, the crowd is already there. There's, 10,000, 12,000 people there already. We come out. ZO2 would always open the set with a big downbeat. And, we would do like a little harmony. Hello, we are ZO2. So when we walked out, I counted the guys in. I hit the downbeat, and you'll see in a second, all of a sudden, an explosion of smoke and powder covered me. So what happened was I hit the cymbals. I didn't even look, but I'm not looking at my drums. We're literally walking on stage, and I'm counting to 4, and I'm hitting the downbeat. The road crew and Ricky Rocket from Poison, Eric Singer's on side stage here, Joey, who is Eric's tech, Spider, who is Ricky Rocket's tech, all are on side stage laughing hysterical. What they did was they put baby powder all over my drums, on my cymbals, on the snare, on everything. So when I hit the first downbeat, it looks like an explosion. So play that first, and then
I'm going to play it.
There's a worse part of this story coming up.
Okay, I do want to point out that I've watched this about 12 times since I found it. And at one point, it looks like Joey is blowing to try to get
What year is this?
Okay, so this is why it came up. I was going through a box of stuff that I found, and I found the ticket stub.
Can't see it.
You can't see that at all?
No,
it's the Rock the Nation tour, Lee. It's 2004.
Yeah.
Okay.
August 4th, 2004. My son was actually born a year and 4 days later. That's like, it was like, so there was no procreation at that moment. Joey is not responsible for the birth. If it would have been 9 months exactly, I would have been like, Joey got us in the mood. No, nobody wants to think about that. Late night Joe.
Does Jace's nose look anything like this?
Actually, it's spread out all over his face. He has a huge head too, so it's a good chance he's Sonny's. Anyway, okay, so here we go. I'm going to show you guys this video and then Joey will because we've got a lot to talk about. This is going to be fun. I want you guys to enjoy this. And I'm down. I'm pointing to the screen so you guys can see. I'm actually the row right behind the soundboard. It was really cool.
Watch this. Those are not special effects.
He's laughing.
So again, the worst.
He's giving him the finger.
We're all laughing on the side of the stage right now, and I'm looking at the cursing. Paulie's giving them the finger. Singer, Ricky Rocket, all the roadies, they're all laughing at us. So the worst part of this. So obviously, it's not that big a deal, right? The powder, it actually looks kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
Here's the worst part. So
nice.
There will have sympathy for me. So baby powder made my hands very slippery, very
smooth.
Smooth. So a couple beats in, you don't hear it because I don't even know how I covered it, and I'm so glad the camera actually pulled away. But a couple beats in, I swear to you, I hit one of the downbeats, and both sticks go. Whoosh, and I have no sticks in my hand. I've never lost both sticks at the same time. I've dropped or broken many a stick on occasion, but I can always pick up a new stick and be ready to go. On this occasion, both sticks go. And even then I'm not panicking because all I got to do is kind of cover one beat, one note, right? Because I'll hit it with my hand or my bass drum, and I grab sticks in my stick bag. I go to grab sticks in my stick bag, and these assholes already they anticipated what was going to happen. All my sticks are in my stick bag. I can take one out, two out, and I'm ready to go. They duct taped all of them together.
Wow.
So now the sticks are in a bunch I can't grab one without grabbing 20. So now it's it felt like an eternity. It only wound up being maybe 2 measures. I wound up pulling sticks out of the middle of the bunch, but they are crying side stage. All of them, like I said, Eric Singer, Ricky Rocket, Spider, Joey, all of them are laughing at me side stage, and we are cursing them to no tomorrow.
That is such an awesome story.
That's amazing.
See, now here's the
It
thing,
isn't.
and Lee and I were there.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I came after Joey performed. No, I'm kidding.
All right, Joe.
I'm
I don't
sorry.
love this. You know what? We're never starting at 8 o'clock again.
Okay,
When-
I'm just kidding.
When I saw that tour, I saw you guys at the Concord Pavilion, and I remember watching Paul. I'm a huge Y&T fan, one of my favorite
Me
bands of all
too.
time. Right. So when I
was
saw
listening to them
Paulie, I'm like, oh my God, this is like a young Dave Meniketti. He's got the same hair, same guitar,
Yeah.
same feel, right? So I was totally into it. And you guys were bluesy rock, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
got a blues feel to it. So I couldn't take my eyes off Paulie, to be honest.
Well, it's funny. You call him a young Dave Meniketti. I always used to call him Mrs. Roper from Three's Company.
Oh,
Same.
Nice.
Yeah, same thing.
Today I was one thing that I pride myself on, just like a lot of you guys do out there, when raising our children, we try to get them to see the things that we grew up on, whether it's music or videos or movies. And today I've watched not exaggerating, 200 movies with Jace. And today we broke in Real Genius, and Summertime Girls is in the soundtrack for that movie, and he loved it. He loved the movie. He thought it was great. Okay, so now we're
Nice.
That's
nice.
That's spectacular. Look,
Bill and Dave.
She had it right there.
2006. I went up to New York City for that.
So now that we're here at our topic of the week, Joey did something this week, and he went to New York to the Cutting Room, and they were presenting Peter Criss with an award, right?
Yeah, he got a humanitarian award. Obviously, listen, we all know Peter from his Kiss days and, just being a rock legend, rock and roll Hall of Famer, but also, all his work with Cancer Foundation. Peter had breast cancer. He's done so much work over the years for that foundation and just raising awareness in male breast cancer, who, you never think of that as when you're thinking of cancer. So, the Raven Drum Foundation, who is Rick Allen and his wife Lauren's foundation, they honored him this year with the humanitarian award. I was incredibly honored to be invited. At first, I was just invited to come. I wanted to just experience this event with Peter, for Peter. And, then I got involved with playing a little and, kind of went from there.
Okay, so let's talk about as much as you could tell us or remember. Obviously, this is one of those experiences, where it's just boom, 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 boom. So a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. Did you get a chance to rehearse? No rehearsals, like you get early.
So I mean, listen, we get called earlier in the day. Which the plan was to try to run some songs as much as we could earlier in the day. That's how these events work. You don't get you're not rehearsing the night before, the day before. You're maybe getting a couple seconds in sound check to rehearse, but I mean, everything ran so late. I didn't even touch the stage. I know Peter and Bernard Purdie. If anyone doesn't know Bernard Purdie, the Purdie Shuffle, it's like one of the most famous beats in the world. It's where John Bonham got Fool in the Rain. It's where Jeff Porcaro got Rosanna from the Purdie Shuffle. It's still a beat. It's one of the biggest beats in the world. He played with Stevie Wonder and Aretha Franklin and everyone under the sun. They rehearsed a little bit. I think they did Stand By Me together. So they got on stage a little bit, but we did about 20 songs total that night. All the bands, all the artists. Maybe they ran through 3. So no, absolutely no rehearsal. This is all just super pro guys. It's the who's who in the industry. There was so many members of like the Saturday Night Live band there. And, these guys are crazy pros. They can do anything on the fly, pick it up. So yeah, no rehearsal at all.
Awesome. Well, so now I haven't seen all of the video. Here's your one complaint. What happened?
Oh, this is a great story. So usually when I go to the cutting room, I park, which is in New York City, I park in a lot right down the block. It's the next block up. But I wind up getting there so late because of traffic and blah, blah, blah. Meaning when I say late, I mean late for the sound check and stuff. I said, you know what? I could probably park on the street. I'm from Manhattan. I know like the little areas where I can find some meters. I wind up parking on the street, threw some money in the meter for 2 hours. And then after 7 o'clock, the meters are, the parking is free. So I found my spot. I didn't have to put it in the lot. At the end of the night, the show ran late. Everything always runs a little late. I'm walking to my car, which is past that lot that I normally park in. And I see like 2 cop cars, 4 cops, and a crowd of people in front of the lot. The lot closed early, and all the people from the cutting room that parked there were locked in the lot.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Disaster.
What happened?
Because there's roll down doors in the city.
Exactly.
These aren't like open lots we just
No.
drive up and the thing comes up. Like in Cincinnati, those lots are closed, but
Right.
you can still get out, but they're not roll gates down.
No,
Right.
This was
That
literally
looks
a
like
metal
chain
gate.
link fence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Okay,
metal gate.
literally
You couldn't
couldn't
even
get the
stay in.
cars.
Yeah. Because they're
Yes,
worried
so-
somebody get in there and rip off all the cars.
So I think nobody came. I think he had to pick up his car the next morning. I saw him.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Said, "Oh my God, dude, terrible."
Wow.
That's
Oh,
All right, so
that's
let's
horrible.
talk about what we all want to know, and that is, did you get any private time with Peter? Obviously he's going to be bombarded by everybody there, but did you have a chance to say hello?
Oh my God, of course. So once the event starts, it's impossible for any of us, the artists, to mingle together because Peter's being bombarded by people. Everyone's, busy doing a million things. But obviously beforehand, when we're doing sound check, I had a great conversation with Peter. Peter was doing his stuff with Bernard on the stage. He came off. We talked drums for probably 20 minutes. He was kind of complaining about the skins being dead. And we were talking about tuning and what kind of heads we use. He didn't like coated heads. And, we were talking just a lot of drum talk. Peter, I know Peter for many years now. Really the sweetest guy in the industry that I ever met. He's so down to earth. He's just genuine, a good person. You could talk to him. He's not one of these guys where he doesn't want to talk to people. He's so sweet to everyone. Now, just my personal experience, he's always extra, extra sweet to me. And I don't know if it's because I'm a drummer. I can't imagine he would be nice to someone like Pooney because everyone hates Pooney. But he's sweet to me.
That's what I hear.
And, we had a great conversation. Then later, talked to Gigi and Peter more. Gigi, who's Peter's wife, is, beyond amazing, handles all Peter's business, but also they're just a sweet couple. God, they're so nice and down to earth, regular people. And obviously these are superstars, right? But they're just regular people. And, they had some amazing things to say about the #1 Kiss podcast. And you know what I'm talking about, baby? PRC, Podcast Rock City. So #1. So, but no, Gigi, spoke so highly of the show, mentioned Joe specifically first, just mentioned how sweet he is and how, it's just genuine he is. And he is. He's like, he's like the little sweetheart of all the podcast community. And I've said it a million times. That's why Pop House reached out to him and got him on board. They want people that are genuine, nice, with obviously incredible Kiss knowledge and just great ideas. And, then she mentioned Lee, which is so funny. Lee had told me this story a while back, but I actually forgot it until, Gigi and Peter brought it back up, that Lee went, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe if Gigi was wrong too. Lee went up to Gigi at some convention. Now, I think Gigi said were you dressed like as a crazy clown or something?
Pennywise, yeah.
Pennywise, well, of course.
Old Pennywise, 90s Pennywise.
And she went up to Gigi, and obviously she's dressed full costume, makeup, and everything. And from Lee's voice, Gigi knew exactly who it was, which is
Crazy.
it's mind-boggling. So she knew her not only from the podcast. So they're obviously watching the podcast. They're fans of the show. So she mentioned Gigi. She talked about how sweet Joe was. Obviously, I'm involved with Peter. You know, I would like to think that they're really good friends of mine. It's weird. I don't know if it's a weird coincidence or not. They did not bring up Sonny Pooney.
Joey, they also gave me a shirt, a jean shirt. They had it for me. We brought this for you. And I'm like, you and Peter? What?
Incredible.
Brought me
Again,
a shirt?
they're just genuine people. It's
So
it's one of
sweet.
those things. I only see them, once every few years or something. And I never listen. I'm nobody. I never know if they're gonna remember me or remember my name. I get hugs immediately as soon as I see them,
Aw.
called by name. So again, they're just genuine people. And I don't want to spill the beans or anything, but Gigi mentioned once it's time to promote the new record, which they haven't started fully yet. But once it's time to really be on board with promoting the record, Peter would love to come on and talk to us and just sit down and really
That would be
discuss the
fun.
record and what went into it. And, listen, it's time to get Peter back in the spotlight. He's done his own thing for many years, but with his new record coming out, it's time to get Peter back where he belongs, which is in the spotlight.
He's a living legend.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so talk to us about now Joey has posted the videos of his performance on our Facebook page. Now before we get to that, listen, there's a whole bunch of you here right now watching. First of all, thank you. We do this every week. Normally at 7 p.m. We had to go a little later because we wanted to make sure Joey was able to be here so he could share this story, not just with you guys, but with us, because the truth is he sent us a text message and said, hey, look, this is what happened, but we didn't get as much story because, he's busy. So we wanted to make sure he was able to, because let's face it, and we'll talk about this eventually, but every other show right now is talking about the fact that Peter Criss has announced that he's got a rock and roll record coming out later on in the fall. So obviously they're talking about it, but what we're getting is a performer's firsthand view of what it was like to perform with Peter Criss at this event on Saturday. And you're not going to get that anywhere else. You're going to get it right here on the Uno. I'm just saying, I did that wrong. My bad. The Uno. That's what we're going to call ourselves from now. The Uno. Anyway,
let's talk about rock record for a second, right? Because I think we got listeners that if you say rock, they picture a certain thing. And we don't know what rock equals to Peter.
Well, he said rock and roll, right?
Right. He said rock and roll.
Record? Yeah. Okay. That's
for me. It's somewhere between Bill Haley and Bob Seger. That's the rock I hear from Peter.
Sure. Well, I mean, if that's what it is, that's what that's what we expect. Yeah, that's great.
I mean, listen, I haven't heard anything. But I'm going to guess that that's not the rock and roll we're going to get. I think Peter's just old school. When he says rock, he says rock and roll, and we think that Sonny, that box. Yeah. But, we got John 5 involved. We got Billy Sheen on bass. Peter's drums, I'm hearing, sound incredible. Julian Gill, who is, obviously Kiss FAQ podcast, who is maybe the number 2, but they're up there. I mean, it can't be number 1. We can't all be number 1.
Is that like this?
They're very, but FAQ is great. It's funny. I just actually joined the FAQ message board recently. I had never been on before. I always
Poor guy. Dude, get off of there.
No, it's great. Listen, there's always idiots everywhere, but it's great because it has so much information on it. Anyway, the FAQ podcast is great. Julian is an encyclopedia. He has so many books out. I've known Julian for years. I remember calling him when my first book came out to get some advice. So Julian's always helped me through the years, but he was there and he mentioned on one of his shows how he heard some of the tracks and Peter's drums sound bombastic on them. And I think we're going to get a heavier record than we think. I really do. I don't know for sure. I didn't hear anything, but I think this is going to be very modern, heavy sounding. I can't wait.
Listen, all you guys that are watching right now, do me a favor. I rarely ask for this. This is what I want you to do. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell. It'll let you know when we go live. Here's the other thing. I swear I rarely ever ask for this. There is either a thumbs up if you're watching on Facebook or a heart, like a little heart thing. Hit that now. Because what happens, and that helps our show. It boosts us and pushes us out in front so more people get to come and hang out with us when we do this show. And it's so much fun because look, our producer, Jacques, he's putting your comments in there right now. Right there. Jordan's comment. Peter was very kind to me when I was dealing with depression years ago. Will always be my favorite member. Genuinely cares. That is an amazing story. Thank you, Jordan. I really appreciate that. I don't know. You're wearing a Viking shirt, and I don't know how how did it go for them, Sonny?
Brother.
Sonny, hold on. Not to get off subject. I know we're talking about Peter. Sonny, you got to admit the Giants had an incredible draft.
They did. Right up to Abdul Carter asking to wear number 56. He's an idiot.
They already said no. That's all right. That's already been squashed. Yeah. That's ridiculous. That's a moron.
So let's get back to this rock record for a second. So let's go down the road of it's heavier. Does that mean Peter doesn't sing it all?
Listen, I don't have the details. I wish I
did.
Again,
technically, you could release a record and not sing it all, right?
Listen, I haven't heard he's not. I think Peter's singing on this record. I don't know for sure, but listen, we got to wait and see. That's all speculation until I'm sure as it's leading up, we're only in, we're not even in May yet. What I'm hearing is it's going to come out in the fall. I'm expecting as the months go by, we're going to get little trickles of information, more about songs, who wrote the songs, who's singing, who's playing on what songs, maybe some leaked song titles and stuff like that. But and from what I heard the other night from Peter, not only can Peter still play, because he was playing great the other night.
Nice.
Peter's 79, and all the drummers that were there, probably me excluded, were incredible. These guys are like the superstars of the industry. You're talking about Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross, Saturday Night Live, the biggest names in the business. These are like the drummers for those guys, Hall & Oates and Bryan Adams. And Peter's feel, when you hear drummers back to back to back to back to back all night long changing over, you can hear the differences in everyone's playing. And me as a drummer especially, I'm really listening to all the little intricate stuff. Peter has such a great feel. He can just hit a little accent on the cymbal and snare, and it'll just pop the right way. It'll give you chills, and he'll go right back into the pocket. So Peter can not only still play, but there's some songs he was singing on. He obviously sang, we'll get into my performance with him, the song that he sang with me. His voice sounds great. He's energetic. He was there the whole night, happy, fun, talking to everyone after the show. So, Peter's alive and well, and new records coming. Can't wait.
Let's go ahead and watch this video with our friend Julian and Peter Criss, and let's look at the details that we get from it. Okay, guys? God. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear it. Okay. I just want to make sure I don't mess that up. Here we go.
To the KISS FAQ podcast. I'm your host, Julian Gill, and it's my honor to present to you founding member of KISS, Peter Criss. Peter, great to see you today.
Thank you, Julian. I have an announcement. I have my new rock and roll album, to KISS Army guys, coming out in the fall, and I really hope you like it, man. And I want to say God bless to each and every one of you.
Now, this is a hard rock kick-ass album co-produced by Barry Pointer, who's worked with Ozzy, Marilyn Manson, Fred Corey, Steve Stevens, amongst others, and of course, John Five.
Yep. It was. What can I say? We had a ball.
All right, that was amazing, Peter. Thank you very much. You know what? I was honored to listen to this album in Peter's studio with him last night, and it was absolutely amazing to hear this new music. It was vibrant and powerful. I'm so excited for it to be released, and I think KISS fans are going to love this album. Peter's drum sound is absolutely massive, and his vocals are powerful. Barry Pointer's production is stunning, and Peter's got an incredible group of musicians and background vocalists behind him. Billy Sheehan, as you would expect, delivers incredible perfect and spectacular bass lines. And he and Peter are locked in so tight, it's amazing. Guitarist Mike McLaughlin, better known as Angel from Criss circles, delivers some scorching guitar work on this album, as of course does the electric troubadour himself, John Five. Matthew Montgomery, better known as Piggy D, who played with Marilyn Manson and Alice Cooper, is on bass on some songs. And Paul Schaefer is a monster on B3 and piano. You know what? Peter has written some very powerful songs here, and I'm so excited for you to hear them. Peter will be doing more in-depth interviews closer to the release date in the fall.
I've had tea with Julian on a Kiss cruise, and there's nothing like having tea with a British guy. So they mention his vocals, they mention his drums. So now we know he at least sings something.
Yeah.
And he plays drums.
And I hear powerful. I don't hear heavy. If I think Julian would have heard heavy, he would have said heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, we're just talking about semantic words and stuff. I'm not sure heavy, what all that stuff means. But to me, it sounds like what Julian said, if it's going to be a powerful record. And I do think the Chris Cat record was powerful. That was a pretty thick sounding record. That was some heavier type songs. So listen, either way, at the end of the day, someone posted it up. If you scroll up a little bit, 2025, I think Aces came out in technically 2024, but Aces working on the new record too. We got new music from Peter Criss and Ace Frehley still coming out.
Woohoo.
How can we, this is all good stuff. Whether, we like the heaviness or the softness or the whatever it is, how can we ever complain? We have new music coming out from these guys. We've asked Kiss, and listen, I'm glad they put out some. I actually really love Sonic Boom. Monster, but I'm still glad I have it. I want more. Give us more. I don't want to hear the old adage, hey, there's no reason to put out new music. You're a musician. You're a band. You put out music. That's what everyone does. It's not only about making money. And listen, Paul did it to an extent because I can't imagine he made a fortune off of Soul Station. Whether everyone loved it or not has nothing to do with it. He still put out music. And I love that. How can we complain? 50 years later, these guys are into late 70s now. We're still getting music from the band we love.
And I don't think you have to love it all.
Yeah, agreed.
Right? Because when Scorpions puts out a new record, nothing's going to touch Love at First Sting for me. Ozzy puts out a new record. It's going to not touch No Rest for the Wicked for me. I don't care what they put out. It won't matter. Right? So that's really the same thing with Ace. For me, nothing's going to touch the 78 album. I love Trouble Walking. Ace can release whatever he wants. It's not going to touch that. But at least they're putting it out, I guess.
But that has a lot to do with age too. Like no matter what we do, nothing's ever going to touch us like it touched us as kids. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hold on. Whoa. But nothing. We'll never get that feeling again from hearing that first Ace record or Peter singing Hard Luck Woman. We're not going to get that because we're at a different age. Our impressions of people of everything we're listening is different. But God, let's be thankful we're still getting stuff. Let's absorb it. Let's enjoy that we're still getting this stuff.
Okay, so listen, let's because I want to make sure that we talk about a couple other things. Joey, how many songs did you get to perform with Peter?
So I did. Obviously there's a lot of musicians there. I did 3 songs the whole night. Earlier in the night, I did a couple of Joan Jett songs with some original members of the Blackhearts. And Devin Marie, who sings with Debbie Gibson, was on vocals. Incredible vocalist. It was great songs, great feel. We did I Love Rock and Roll. We did Hate Myself for Loving You. Those were incredible. And then, completely honored, I got asked to do the finale with Peter. Matt Starr was also on drums. Every song had 2 drummers. That was the theme of the night because it was all drummers, a drummer foundation thing. So we got to do a little help from my friends with Peter on lead vocals. I mean, listen, it's a dream come true. It's playing a Beatles song with my idol, the guy who made me want to play drums. 1979, I saw Kiss at Madison Square Garden. I saw Peter Criss go on the drummerizer. My life was changed forever. I went home that Christmas, had to have drums. have been a drummer ever since. So to come full circle and get to be Peter's drummer, even if it's for one song on one night, it was just, a surreal experience. And Peter sounded great, was in great spirits. And, the videos on our Facebook page, PRC, the #1 Kiss podcast, and my personal page, and my good friend, Julian Gill, is the man behind that video. I actually asked Julian earlier in the night, because you never know who's filming or if you're going to get footage. I said, Julian, please, I'm on the finale with Peter. I got to make sure that I have this as a memento. So please film it for me. So Julian did a great job filming. He was more than gracious enough to do it. So it was just an incredible feeling. I've now gotten to play or jam with all 4 original members. I got to jam with
Wow.
Gene a little bit on the Kiss tour. He would come out during sound check and mess around with us. Paul Stanley one day too. We were playing Love Gun during sound check. Paul came out and started singing Love Gun with us. He did the whole song with us. Obviously, I played with Ace on numerous occasions, just did Ace's new album. And, I've met Peter dozens of times over the years, but never got to physically play with him on stage. And, now that bucket list has been checked, and it was a dream come true.
That is,
That's
I
awesome.
mean, that's a second book.
Listen, it's crazy. It's, I would never think, just seeing the video, even like I'm looking back, like almost like an out of body thing, like, holy shit, that's little 5-year-old Joey playing drums with the guy he saw at Madison Square Garden that night. So, it was epic. It was great feeling. The song came good. There was no, I always hope there's no train wrecks, because we could butcher songs without rehearsal. So the song came great. And, it was a moment to remember.
Amazing. And it wasn't butchered. One time I was on my birthday, I was playing at the Masquerade in Atlanta, and it turned to midnight, and somebody walked up and handed me a beer, and I don't drink. So I took a big chug of my beer and went into the next song, walked up to sing my line, looked at my girlfriend at the time, and I could see her go, "Oh no." And I'd forgotten all my lyrics
From one chug of beer.
from one chug of beer.
Wow. I've been to places where there's 2 drummers and they didn't communicate. So they're both doing drum fills at the same time. It's like, dude, do you realize how bad that sounds?
And you know what's so funny too? Because listen, Little Help My Friends is pretty straight, but there is that one drum fill.
It's an important part.
It's a very Ringo-esque musical melody type drum fill. And Matt looked at me right before it started, like, do we have this? And I was like, we're going to see in a second. And you can hear it. Like, listen, Matt is an incredible drummer. He's a pro. We no flams, nothing. Like the fill was perfectly in unison the whole night. You almost don't even notice that there's 2 drummers on any song, because again, all the guys up there were so pro. You're feeling the rhythm. You're not clashing. Nobody overplayed. You can always do more, but that's not what the event was for. So we always just did it for the song and for the event.
Amazing. Joey, I'm so happy for you to be able to do this. Lee and I got to play one song with Bruce Kulick, and we still talk about it to this day.
We still talk about it all the time.
Because it was so much fun. It's one of those things. I sat in a crowd and watched him play live, had the opportunity to get on stage one time. We still talk about it. I cannot imagine being able to say I've played with all 4 original members.
Right. Amazing.
It's
Again,
epic.
when you're a kid, you're not playing music or acting or doing this to become a millionaire and to be a superstar. You're doing it to become one with your idols. And if you ever get the chance to do that, which obviously you guys have and I have over the years, it's an incredible feeling. It's more gratifying than any check that I've ever received, any big payday I ever received, any accolade that I've ever received. Having your peers, or your idols, become your peers, and fellow musicians on stage and performing together, there's no better feeling in the world.
That's awesome. All right, listen, we're getting ready to go and do our after school special. Topic for today will be don't steal your neighbor's mail. They need their social security check. I'm just saying That's what's going to be about.
Uh-oh.
So make sure you guys come and hang out. If you haven't signed up yet, you got a few minutes. There's a link in the description. It costs literally 99 cents a month. And we take that money and we buy stuff to give away to you guys monthly. And this time when I sent the package away this past week, I put some Podcast Rock City backpacks. I put 2 in there. I put some guitar picks in there. So there's extra stuff as well. And we're just here to have some fun. So everybody, thank you very much for being here. We know it was late. Next week we're gonna have another show. It'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern time. You guys can hang out. There's 100 of you guys in the room hanging out with us all night. That is amazing. You guys, and the best part about it is so many of you participated. We can see your comments rolling by. It's a lot of fun. Sonny, if somebody's asking about your, we're going to give away that Striper guitar.
We are not giving away the Striper guitar. You are dreaming. I have a mini Striper guitar right there. I ain't even giving that away.
Sonny, I don't know if you heard, Michael Sweet posted the other day that he's starting to work on a Striper Christmas album, which is going to be awesome.
Because that Winter Wonderland is one of my favorite Christmas songs.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, I could hear it now. Rudolph the Sorry.
Joe, 2 super quick things. Obviously, my new book, Order of the Rose. If you guys like music from the Elder, this is the story of what it could have been. This is Sonny Pooney's favorite book of all time. He reads it every night right before he goes to bed, you son of a bitch. It's available on Amazon right now. The reviews have been incredible. Thank you for everyone who bought this book. It's doing incredibly well. I really wrote it for myself just so I had the story of the Elder finally in my brain. But the comments and the feedback and the amount of books I sold is beyond staggering. I appreciate everyone that has bought this book. Thank you so much. And to shamelessly plug my son's YouTube channel, which he wants me to plug sometimes for him on the show. I'm sending the link in the comments right now. If you would be so kind to go subscribe to my son Joe's YouTube channel. He does some fun stuff on there. Check it out.
I'll tell you something interesting. My son and his girlfriend, when they're driving around, this is not a joke. I'm not. And Sonny, keep it together, Sonny. No, don't jinx the kids. When they're driving around, she's reading this book out loud to him while he's driving. It's just because Jason's like, I don't like reading. And she's like, oh, don't worry. I'll read it to you. So Tessa's in the car reading it to him while they're driving. And it's amazing. Now, here's
that's funny. Nobody's falling asleep during that. They're reading it and they're driving. Everyone's okay.
Here's the real shocker. Now, she actually went to him and said, so this book so far is giving us a good idea of what the Elder could have been. And my son actually said one of the most messed up things my kid could have ever said. And he said to her, I've never heard the Elder. And her reaction was basically, what? So when we're done tonight, I'm going to sit in the living room with him and we're going to listen to the Elder. And
let us know how that goes.
So he lost a bet and is getting punished. I get it.
No, I never punish that kid. He's amazing. Except when I do. All right, we're done here. Sonny, you got anything to add?
No, I'm good. Thank you for listening.
Yes. Joey, you already added your stuff. Lee, how are you? What do you got to add?
I got nothing. I'm good.
You had a good time?
I had a great time. Great stories about Peter Criss.
Next week, we're going to ask Lee 10 different questions that she's got to answer about being a Kiss fan, because I literally got 2 emails in the past month saying, why don't you let Lee talk more? And I'm like, let Lee talk more.
I'm just a sidekick. I know what I am.
No. You're the team. You're part of the team.
I'm not a talkative person.
No. So next week, that's what we're gonna get. All right. So Everybody head on over to the next show. Tim Cobb, thank you for joining. We'll see you in just a few minutes, man. We're going to hang out. It's private, so who knows what's going to happen. Sonny may do the truffle shuffle. You know what I'm going to say? We love Kiss, and we love Kiss podcast, every one of them. Just so you know, Julian Gill did a thing with Peter Criss today, and I didn't get jealous or angry. I want to point that out. And
We're very happy for him.
Isn't that weird, Joe? Isn't that a weird statement that if someone else could do something and you didn't do it, and you actually feel good for them about doing it?
Absolutely.
It doesn't take away from you at all. It's good. We're happy for him.
Hell yeah, I even played his ass right on my show. And you're going to hear the commercials for all the ones that we love right after this in 3, 2, 1. Peace.